Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if I had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. The fall of the House of M. We begin with posthumously named Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 1, an accident wrapped in a Hail Mary wrapped in a prayer. Kind of impossible to remember that Marvel was the underdogs at one point, but this video very much isn't about that. The journey has been exhaustively covered, so we're gonna go through this quick. It's pretty quaint when you look back on the history of comic book movies as a whole, especially early Marvel attempts by other studios, specifically 20th Century Fox. I saw Daredevil in the theater twice. And Punisher was the kind of guy that studios bet on all the time. They also bet on Fantastic. Okay, look. I mean to say it wasn't always like this. This Marvel blueprint was kind of a messy creation, and I think that was important to its success, the messy part. Humans like imperfect things. We start with Hulk even though Iron Man came out first. Easy to turn into a toy. We've always been doing that. The reverence that the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse has for the Incredible Hulk is endearing and somewhat strange. I mean, reverence for everyone other than Edward Norton, first artist down, gone so young. The original idea was freakishly simple. Introduce half the Avengers in their own films, throw a Nick Fury in the background and hold on for dear life. Iron Man showed up in Hulk's movie, then Nick Fury in his, and that was really the whole ball game. It nigh instantaneously was something truly remarkable, a rocket that never really seemed to run out of fuel, but Iron Man, as Jeff Bridges sees and calls it, is a student film. It was famously amateur hour, but they were so money, baby. That rare moment in time where a once-in-a-lifetime collection of counterculture voices got to kind of make it up as they went. And this is the part the machine will always try to get rid of. It's the uncertainty of figuring it out. Iron Man became a key illustration for the shape of the universe. Favreau imagined a trilogy of movies all about Iron Man. So let's talk about Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2 is a rushed collection of scenes that are trying to do too many things at once. Are we setting up future movies, or are we telling a story? A thing that never really stops kicking a band member off the back of the Marvel bus? You can't just make Swingers 3 this time, Jonathan. The shared universe obliterates this plan immediately. All movies serve one narrative. Your main character ends up being second class to the overarching goals of the brand as a whole. It is hard to ignore that the pursuit of a cinematic universe suffocates creative and artistic intent. Write that one down, it's gonna be important. Oh, and I guess I breezed over Thor is also there. In a very real way that is still true to this day, Iron Man has always carried this film business. But there is a wrinkle, and that was what comes next when Captain America is frozen in ice at the end of his movie, lovingly directed by Joe Johnston. We were at 4 movies with varying degrees of success with audiences. Can you stick all of these characters plus Bow and Arrow Man and Gun Lady into a movie together? The world was amiss in speculation. That's the abridged setup for the Avengers, a movie that really starts pretty rough. Credit to how hard this film sticks the landing, though.
Welcome in the end.
You said it, metatextual Robert McKee.
and Hulk. Smash.
Avengers felt like a once-in-a-lifetime moment where everyone was equally in on the nerdy thing. It's why it took over Hollywood. But also the whole promise was kind of predicated on scale and going bigger next time, which is going to be the poison pill at the center of the Marvel sandwich. Avengers is a once-in-a-lifetime home run where every kind of bananas ass bet paid off to a shared whole. Easy to forget that no one had ever done that before. Oh, the monkey's paw is curled. Oh, is it supposed to do that? The profit margin is the scaffolding around the film business, but what of the castle that is entirely made of scaffolding? Because now you have built a bar that can only go up. This Hulk cannot grow and devour enough. More characters, more stories. The insatiable Hulk really lets their presence be known at the dawning of one Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is a universe made under duress. A pattern when working for the machine, and yet we kept going. Phase 2 is a testing moment for Marvel, a fledgling film idea now fully owned by Disney. Guardians and Winter Soldier are by far the standouts in Phase 2. Avengers Age of Ultron hints that you can reclaim some of the glory of the original superhero crossover experiment, but you always feel the weight of, wait, how many characters are in this movie? It always comes back to Iron Man, the bread and butter of the universe. And Phase 2, as rocky as it was, leads us directly to Phase 3 is a towering achievement. I am sort of impressed that so many hits come out of this one. We should be on the other side of the mountain, but we're still climbing. Civil War, Doctor Strange, Guardians 2, and we wrap up with the absolute cultural phenomenon of Black Panther and the kind of cultural phenomenon of Captain Marvel. Marvel will never ride higher than this run of movies. Phase 3 is Disney animation in the 90s. It's the 1901 Detroit Tigers. Is that reference to In the Weeds? They've proven the experiment wildly true. Can you take a bunch of characters that the general public doesn't have awareness of and put them into the cultural zeitgeist? You can, but can you fake that feeling? A moment in cinema that deserved a moment of quiet reflection, a 10 out of 10 stuck the landing kind of thing that was actually kind of novel to see through to this level of completion in the for-profit cinematic space. It was also kind of the moment I began to be overwhelmed by Marvel, but this is all something I can say out loud now because everyone knows they ain't nailing it all the time so much anymore. But overwhelming the audience was the point, which is kind of a double-edged sword. Look, I'm sorry, I don't really like myself in the Infinity War video either. It was a long time ago. I never did a follow-up video about Endgame because I was always kinda too scared to make it. I touched the sun the night the Infinity War video went up. Weirdos were messaging my family on Facebook. I had a bad time. The internet is the happy hour of bad times. Being honest, that video absolutely changed the trajectory of this channel. What lessons was I to take away? If you want to succeed on this website, make everyone as mad as possible. End sentence. That's chump shit, but that's the truth. You are valued for your ability to make people type something angry in the comments. Disney always learns the worst, most capitalistic lessons from past successes. Tale as old as time. Jesus! I additionally thought it was kind of clever to point out that all the
"Is Thanos right?"
videos are intellectually damaging to a society, brain-dead content farm shit. YouTube was a mistake. I stopped talking about Marvel on an essay level after that. In my incredibly myopic estimation, building a shared universe didn't mean y'all were reformatting the industry to make everything the infinite content canon of never-ending lukewarm soup. I too was not ready for the super universe of entertainment, the one-stop shop economy. But for anyone wondering about my much too late thoughts on this one, Endgame is a grand slam. It is an overly long and has way too many things happening, but it nails the landing so hard it made me cry in the theater. Not really because Tony died, but more because Marvel landed an 18-movie gauntlet. No one had ever done that in the whole of the movie industry before. And to end it where it began with Iron Man is a stroke of actual artistry. Uneven journey, great ending. And Marvel never leaves Iron Man. Tony becomes a ghost haunting the machine. And Endgame wasn't the end. Endings don't even exist inside of Disney brain. Tony Stark is now Jacob Marley. Get this, a whole ass worldwide plague happened, and instead of taking a moment to let the accomplishment sit in the world, they put the pedal through the floor. It was never like it was again. We can all see this. Eternals happened, and I think people started to realize Marvel was hyper expanding the universe with characters that never showed up again. They did the comic book thing while doing the comic book thing. This destroyed the entire industry.
No one knows what they're doing.
Okay, let me try a different way. They did MODOK, but bad. Marvel pulled off a once-in-a-lifetime grand slam, something that no one had ever attempted in the industry. And yet, we kept going. Then they make some of the most cynical decisions of all time directly after that. Just keep making movies and TV shows about whatever third-tier characters no one has any recognition of. Like, think back, Avengers was all, whoa, 6 superheroes in one movie, whoa. Now we're in this not too brave new world. It absolutely doesn't even feel like filmmaking to me anymore. This has been going on for years. Like, Captain America 4 is so lazy, they didn't even shoot the ending in front of real trees. I'm a movie purist. If you want a climax to take place during cherry blossoming, maybe plan to shoot your movie when the trees are doing that. God, how young we were in the old days. How old we've all become. I'm making this video now because Avengers will not be able to save it again, and it's important to plant that flag now. House of M has started to crumble. And we come to the era with an asterisk on it. A film production company having a panic attack while their parent company demands they add shareholder value. It's important to understand how and why the film industry became brand central and chewed off its own leg. I was certainly a part of that on the come up, because every industry on the globe has become brand dump central now, and I'm not sure any of us saw that coming. Gucci is owned by a luxury fashion group. Nestle owns brands in 189 countries. Nestle, in their own words, owns over 2,000 brands. This is all the same problem. As market share increases, quality decreases. There, I did your econ homework for you. Over-consolidation leads to overworked and underpaid contractors and subcontractors. There's a self-fulfilling prophecy to all of this. Let's put a Kevin Feige-shaped face on it. Let us go back to July 19th, 2019, the last remnants of the before times. Avengers Endgame has come and gone. It's time to see if there's a second, fourth act in the world-altering cinematic run. And on this day, Marvel and Kevin Feige introduced Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe to potential audiences.
And yet, we kept going.
Their dates were a little off because of the unforeseen global pandemic that is going to wreak havoc on the entire entertainment industry. The plan was not to continue the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it was to take over streaming. Trying to cut corners while doing that, did we learn nothing from Netflix's Marvel's Iron Fist? Best nap I ever had. You, the entertainment consumer, are capitalism fuel. Turns out superhero movies sell more merchandise than anything else. More characters in the zeitgeist equals more money. And the sort of through line that people didn't necessarily read through on is that at this point, Disney has successfully cornered the other half of the Disney princess market. That was the intent with Marvel. The movies are almost second or third tier priority. They are there to sell toys. And this merch angle is shockingly important. You want to know why they waited so long to let women into the boys club? Disney didn't think it would sell toys. I pushed on them literally for this earlier in the show, but the degree to which Disney has just started ruining women's lives and leaving them out in the cold is sort of shocking. Stop it. Protect your actors, dipshits. This wasn't a one-off. Being an actor shouldn't be a safety hazard. And before long, you miss so many times in a row, and you become so terrified that you're going to lose your market share, that all paths inevitably lead to Doomsday. Accelerationism kills, fam. Legit. Easy illustration. First Avengers outing, second Avengers outing, third Avengers outing, fourth Avengers. Okay, it all comes down to money, and I believe Doomsday will be a turning point. This is outside of quality. This is a math problem. Spoiler alert, I want the film industry to survive and function so all of the talented artists in this town can work and have a livelihood while having dream artistic output jobs. Tell you what, in before all the articles about whatever special effect abuses the CGI houses went through on Doomsday and Secret Wars. Point 1. Marvel is paying Robert Downey Jr. around $100 million for what amounts to stunt casting here. My point here is that has very little to do with his eventual performance. Point 2. Marvel is paying directors Joe and Anthony Russo a reported $80 million to return and direct. Both of these deals are for 2 movies, but that's Shohei Ohtani money. So let's talk about fake movie money, because eventually it will need to be real. Especially having $180 million on the table before you even shoot a scene. It's only fake to obfuscate deal math for existing contracts. Studio executives need boat money. I am saying, where do you think that money is going to come from? It certainly won't be on screen. The budget for these movies could easily be north of $500 million per movie. After marketing, Disney could spend a cool $1 billion here. Printing all these chairs ain't cheap. I really don't want to be the guy that says the sky is falling, so I'll keep this point simple. Just over 50 movies ever have grossed $1 billion. Running a machine as big as the Marvel one is not cheap. When both movies are finished, if they're finished, the world will not be as it once was. I think this is a poison pill for the entire franchise. Without question, Avengers Doomsday needs to be the highest grossing movie of all time to be a moderate success. I'm bearish on Marvel because just go bigger next time is a business model with a hole in the bottom. We never left this shot from the Avengers, the shot that broke the Super Bowl and the film industry. So let's talk about the Russo brothers. The highest paid film directors of all time, though to be fair, the $80 million figure has been disputed and does not contain back-end participation, but does contain bonuses for hitting the $1 billion mark. There is something else going on here that is worth considering. Marvel extremely does not want to work with outside studios so they can keep an iron control on the budgeting for any film. And here is a crack. Doomsday is not like all the others. As a Marvel co-production with the Russo production company Agbo, it raises some concerns. I don't know if movies need to be like this. Let's look at the Russos' last 3 directed movies by budget alone. Number 1, Cherry, $40 million. Number 2, The Gray Man, $200 million. Number 3, The Electric State, $320 million. This is a line going up, and I think The Electric State is quite telling here because the Russos were making the Avengers again, only this time it was with Mr. Peanut and his brigade of brands. I wish I was making any of that up. That is more true than not true, and I hate me. Bury me here. Goodbye. I think line go up is the hellish world we live in right now, and I'm not sure Marvel could have picked a more perfect title for the absolute reformatting that the film industry is about to do to itself. Doomsday, indeed. Let us continue. Point 3. Homework. Okay, I know this has been a lingering issue for a second. Sound off in the comments. How many Disney Plus Marvel shows did you watch? I'll remind you how many there are just in live action. WandaVision, The Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki, Hawkeye, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, Secret Invasion, Echo, Agatha All Along. And Agatha All Along itself a spin-off show from WandaVision. Oh, and Daredevil is back from Netflix cancellation and Born Again on Disney Plus. This is why the comic industry crashed. Stop making bubbles. Hyperinflation leads to collapse, bro. No cap. Did some more of your economic homework for you there. Point the 4th. Point the 5th. Okay, content warning. We're gonna talk about Jonathan Majors. Okay, I think Thanos is a villain so good, CGI so well realized, they can't ever top it. It actually wasn't complicated. Marvel dropped the Thanos breadcrumbs in any movie they could, which gave them a lot of time to perfect technology. It was neat how they very much on the fly threaded all of that together into a story that worked within the stakes it was set within. You probably did a trauma to a lot of kids that resulted in skibidi toilets, so that's on you, but the stakes felt real, immediate, and part of that was going on that big grand ride over formative years. It's strange to reformat the film industry while pulling off the biggest action film success collectively ever, mostly because it takes James Cameron so long to make Avatar movies. And I think Kang was always doomed even before Jonathan Majors was convicted of assault in 2023. Marvel turbo fires his ass very publicly, and at Comic-Con they announced that Robert Downey Jr. was starring as Doctor Doom in the next hastily reformatted New Avengers movie. Not the New Avengers movie. In case you were confused. I'm not suggesting you have to set up a good movie villain over 20 movies, but it was definitely a trick in their back pocket. I've never seen a $500 million movie totally change its entire identity before it shoots a scene. I mean, somebody somewhere is holding up a red flag. Point 6. Okay, I knew this was always going to be a sticking point in the universe, adding in Deadpool. That's fine, whatever, I'm good. But Channing Tatum reprising his role from Deadpool and Wolverine in the main series, I don't even know. I don't even have words for what? The reality of making a universe of film characters this big is that having them exist in the same universe starts to break down as it embiggens. It's Tommy Westphal. I'm saying Deadpool is Tommy Westphal. Next. Which brings us quite elegantly to our next point. Point 7. Is this an X-Men movie? Did I miss the press release. I'll admit we never got a good X-Men 3, but holding on to that grudge for 20 years feels aggressive. Disney, I know you bought 20th Century Fox, but tap dancing on their grave feels excessive. Point 8. I can't keep up anymore, and that's really the main one, so I thought I would make one last episode commemorating what an accomplishment this entire thing has been, and to recognize that I am good getting off the ride at this point. Enjoy waiting for X-Force. I'm out. Deadpool gave up the game and the premise. Jesus Christ!
Now it's time to leave.
You're probably wondering how I got here. All universes can blandly bounce off each other, robbing them of any discernible stakes or character. It's all the Tommy Westphall universe. It wasn't a clever deconstruction of family dynamics by way of television genres and tropes through the ages. No, it was Agatha all along, silly. Go big. Assimilate.
Marvel assembled. That'll do.
Listen, it's a lot. Iron Man sounded cool, but I wasn't signing up for a part-time job, which is the Disney playbook. That'll make you so boring. No one will ever want to go to lunch with that person. Marvel taught an entire generation of people that knowing the next story nugget is the most important thing in the world. Opening night, every night. But the nuggets got stale, right? We used to like stuff, and by like stuff, I mean discuss openly and offer contradictory interpretations of infinitesimally fewer pieces of art. Because the interpreting part is the bit that makes your brain see other people as additional societal value. Fun example, the Avengers, 6 people hold a God-man accountable with very scary handcuffs. This leads to a right-on-time societal wake-up to the oddities of how the scale of humans killed on screen sort of numbs the public consciousness, but people did think about it in superhero movies as a whole. Maybe our censorship of true violence numbs us to the unrelenting hero's journey that took over movies. Example. In Avengers Age of Ultron, there is a concerted effort by the Avengers to save people's lives during the climax of a real everything sandwich kind of movie. Before long, the Avengers just are fighting at the airport. Pow, kapow, zwam, low web, blow web, blow web, blow web. Before long, Marvel became your one-stop shop for people fighting at fields. Disney is on the warpath to squeeze every corn-fed ounce of fat out of this brand. As the characters get less valuable, no problem. Now you get more characters.
So I can safely assume we have your subscription for the rest of eternity because I've shored up your entertainment needs. Haha! So streaming works, right? We just solve it forever and then money!
My main point is one of market saturation. Iron Man took over Hollywood. That doesn't last forever, even if you wanted to. You can't cater just to the hardcore. You alienate the people who don't want to have to do research about what Disney Plus shows they have to watch this new movie. I'm planting the flag now that the sky is falling. We live in the crumbling remains of a once great empire that crumbled like any empire. They don't know how to slow down. Hey, it's your boy Film Michael at it again with another video. So I would like to ask for your sincere support in helping FilmJoy continue to move into the future. You can do that in one of 2 ways. You can support us directly on Patreon at patreon.com/movieswithmikey. There's a Discord. We also have a store which we run ourselves, and sometimes we drive across the country to pick up shirts. We care about making good products, so we have pins and shirts and water bottles. Please support the channel so we can continue doing this into the future. You are loved. I love my turkey more, but I love you second most to that turkey.